Ladies and gentlemen, today we are continuing our coverage from Sturgis, South Dakota, and we are actually speaking with Pete today. Pete, what is your last name?
Torino.
Okay, so Pete Torino, who runs the radio station here in town that happens to be located at the Knuckle Saloon here in Sturgis, which is where we pleasantly ran into you today.
Yes, we've been broadcasting out of the world-famous Knuckle Saloon for 16 years now and are recognized as the official radio station of the Sturgis Rally.
Right, and you were telling me that you actually broadcast in all sorts of locations during the Sturgis Rally.
We have a network of over 200 businesses and over 200 speakers inside and outside buildings around downtown, and you can virtually not avoid listening to us. You hear us for miles away.
And why is that? Why did they set that up?
We work closely with emergency management, law enforcement, and the weather management people to make sure that the bikers have the most current and accurate weather and road conditions. In the past, before KNKL came aboard, they had a chalkboard down in the armory. Well, that's not a very efficient way of getting the word out.
Right. And so, and if there's any emergency at all, this way everybody's listening to the same station, right?
Actually, they're not listening to it over the radio. They're listening to it off of the speakers around town.
Perfect.
Some people do listen to the radio, and thousands listen to us on the internet at knkl.net.
And you know what's really interesting too about you, Pete, is the fact that not only are you really passionate about radio because you've been in broadcasting for many years in your life, and not only are you passionate about Sturgis and the rally and the people in the town, but you also, during your off time, you created the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame magazine. And I have in my hand the 75th anniversary edition here. So show everybody.
Well, this is last year's magazine, and was 144 pages long, and it's full of interesting history and facts about the rally, and has become one of the most popular free tourist magazines every summer in Sturgis. And I think it's because we've got so much unique history and stories and content in it. And we're right now about ready to take this year's edition to the printer, so working on that right now.
So you're a history buff in general, is that true?
I love history. I love Sturgis. The people here are phenomenal to work with. And in the last 16 years, I've seen a lot, and I've been involved in a lot, and it's thrilling. It's a lot of work, but it's thrilling.
Well, I think what's really interesting about you, because the bottom line is, Pete, that I interview people who have incorporated a passion into their lives in order to inspire my audience to do the same. And the thing is, you've taken your skill, your career, and your passion, which is Sturgis and history, and you've molded those together to create something that you're incredibly proud of.
I'm proud of it, but it's been a lot of work by a lot of people. I get a lot of cooperation from the city as well as law enforcement and emergency management, as I mentioned.
But the thing is, because you love it so much, you put that drive into it to connect with all of those people, to coordinate all of this, right?
Yeah. We work on it year-round. The rally just doesn't happen. We're working on it year-round.
Right, exactly. And you know, I'm just thinking about all of my different audience members who have passions of their own, and how they can take them and they can combine them with the skills from their careers, and they can create things like this magazine that you have. Because you know what? The bottom line is, you didn't just come up with the idea and sit on it. You came up with the idea and acted on it.
Thank you. It's been a lot of work, but it's a passion and love.
And you know, you said you have a lot of memories. I'm curious, what's your favorite memory?
My favorite memory, there are so many. One day I was out front of the Knuckle Saloon having a cigarette, and a guy walked up on the street and asked if he could borrow my lighter. So I gave him my lighter. He pulled out a great big marijuana pipe full of marijuana, And I said, I wouldn't do that in public if I were you. And he said, why? And I said, because there are so many cops you see in this town right now. There's twice as many that aren't in uniform that you don't see. And he said, screw the cops. Well, it was about 10 seconds later, he was handcuffed by the guy standing right next to him. And a squad car pulled up at the precise moment, and they stuffed him into the car, and off he was. And I had to chase the police car to the corner and bang on the windows to get my lighter back.
Pete, with all of your favorite historical moments, memories, and research, this one is your favorite?
Not quite.
Is there another one you can share with me?
The chief of police, Jim Bush, is one of my favorite people in Sturgis. He's the longest acting chief of police in America. He just retired this year. But every night as the sun goes down, we get a listing of what the cops are looking for tonight, so you can be prepared and you can do all the brilliant stuff you should do and not the dumb stuff you shouldn't do. So we give a listing of all the stuff the cops are watching for every night, and one of them is to check the lights on your vehicle. Ironically, I was out having a cigarette again out in front of the world famous
I'm thinking
Knuckles
you should
Saloon.
stop smoking is my thing.
And who other than my buddy, the chief of police, drives by and the lights are out on the back of his car. So I walked over to the city-owned liquor store across the street and pounded on his door and got him to come out, and I told him he had his lights out on his car, and he had the city tow his car to the maintenance shop, and he walked the rest of the night, and he stopped in to give me a little guff about it.
So this is probably one of the things, though, that have helped you gain a lot of respect for him.
I've respected Jim from day one. Jim is an amazing guy to keep control over a party like this that's in essence 2 weeks. He does an incredible job.
So let me ask you something else, because I believe, Pete, to get people to act, right, they need to envision something for themselves, then explore what it would take and execute a plan. So what kind of advice do you have for people?
I wish I had just $1 for everybody that came to Sturgis over the past 76 years with a plan on how they were going to get rich. I joke if I had just $1 for each of them, I'd have more money than all of them combined. Sturgis is tough for retailers, and you have to learn a lot of tricks. There are some tricks to it.
So I think what you're saying is they need to study first before they act. Research.
Don't come to town thinking you're going to sell hot dogs and make $1 million. It just doesn't work that way.
So what closing advice do you have for my listeners on how to live a life that they love?
Pursue your dreams. Be happy with what you do. If you're not happy with what you do, find something else.
You know, you've been around here a long time. Ken, the owner, said probably since it opened here.
I was here before they opened. In fact, I remember the morning that I announced on the air that beer was now available.
And he really enjoys having you here, and I can see why. It really is part of who you are.
I love him and his wife, Pam. They're best buddies.
That's great. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. You can say thank you on the mic.
Thank you.
And I talk to you, and I talk to you, and I talk to you, and I talk to you. And we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate. We try to relate. This is my breakthrough. Whoa. Said now, this my breakthrough. Whoa. Oh man, this my breakthrough.